Hey shaving cadre, welcome to Barber Dave's Barber Shop at Home. We're going to do an all Sheffield shave today, so thank you for joining us for another straight shave on a Sunday. We hope everybody's having a blessed day so far. Today we're going to be shaving with Dr. Harris Arlington, one of my favorites. We're going to be using a collaboration that was with Lee Sabini and Canet Paladin back when the knots were made in London. So a Paladin Chief with a Sabini Blonde Badger knot. Of course, the Arlington aftershave and cologne combo. And then for the razor, today we're going to be using a big chopper. We're going to be using a George Wostenholm or a Wosty 8/8 for barber use only. And then, of course, we'll use our talc. So, you've been watching the news and you've been looking at, if you enjoy the weather, you'll notice that we've been setting all kinds of records lately. It was, I believe, 119 in Tucson, or excuse me, in Phoenix the other day. We only got to 117, but fortunately I live in an area that's about 5 to 10 degrees cooler because we're higher, so that makes a big difference. Also, if you've been on the cadre, for those of you that got involved in the group buy for the SV TSC brush, if you haven't seen it yet, you'll be happy to know the brushes were shipped. And as of they were shipped yesterday, and they made it to the United States last night, and they are in customs as we speak. Latest tracking information shows that I should get them Monday, but I'm assuming it's going to be Tuesday. And then, of course, we will set up the Zoom call probably for the following weekend, due to logistics and work schedule and stuff like that. I always load the Dr. Harris a little bit heavier because it is a British hard soap and it acts a little bit like Mitchell's wool fat, but if you get it right, it's perfect. And with any of the British hard soaps, I always load them very dry and pasty and then add water, literally. I think that's where some people run into some problems with Mitchell's wool fat, is they have a tendency to load wet, and that can have some problems. Because it seems like with British soaps, that I've noticed anyway, the hard soaps, the old style soaps, that the drier the brush is and the drier the puck is, even though you may soak the puck, it seems to help the lather, in my opinion, just by adding water slowly. And you can get a really nice, creamy lather. And obviously for straight shaving, you want it, a little bit thinner, but slicker. But to me, out of all the British soaps, once again, notwithstanding Mitchell's wool fat, because I kind of put that in a category of its own, I think the Dr. Harris soaps lather the best. And they have a tendency to get better the older you have them. This is an old puck. So I think that helps as well. The razor has been stropped, 30 on linen and 60 on leather, and we'll probably strop it between each pass. So what else is going on? We have our Zoom call this afternoon. And like I said, the big thing right now is just being excited about the SV brushes getting here. This razor is super sharp and heavy, so you just really need to let it do its thing and it falls down the face. There's been some inquiry about the use of a sponge to wipe the razor. Well, there's a couple of reasons why I do it. One, to save water. That's probably one of the biggest things. But the second is that it does leave a small soap film on the razor, which allows for a little bit extra slickness. Plus it cleans the blade and it doesn't affect the sharpness. And quite frankly, when I was learning how to straight shave, pretty much my video source and my mentor, for lack of a better term, was a gentleman, and those of you that are straight razor shavers know about this gentleman by the name of Mennen. He was a member over at B&B back in the day. I believe he moved to Italy, but when he retired. But either way, I'm going to strop this real quick. Either way, he would use a very large sponge and wipe both the spine and the blade after each consecutive pass. And I got in the habit of doing that and really like it. And I do feel it does make a little bit of a difference. And if you watch his video, if there was ever an homage or an emulation of somebody who straight shaves, aside from a couple of different changes that I've added, our shaves are pretty identical in almost all aspects. Passes may be a little bit different, but the technique that I learned from him is pretty much what I've followed from day one. And I think that's what made it easier for me to become ambidextrous in straight shaving. I think the only thing I incorporate a little bit more than Master Mennen is the proverbial Gillette slide in a straight razor. And I don't know if that's simply because I enjoy that and it helps my whiskers, or that I'm crazy, because it does open it up. If you don't keep the blade in motion during that Gillette slide, basically you're asking to get sliced, because you're drawing a razor sharp blade on a perpendicular angle while moving it laterally at the same time. And if you move it laterally and don't have any upward momentum, yeah, you're gonna get nailed. So okay, that's pass two. Yeah, this razor is, I could probably stop there, but I won't. I think I'm going to have some irritation right there, because when I was talking about stopping the blade, that's exactly what I did. As far as the DR Harris Arlington, if you've never used the Arlington before, it's a lemony, lavendery wonder. Super slick. It does dry a little quick. So you do have to keep it fairly well hydrated towards the last pass. But as I said, for a British hard soap, it's tremendous for straight shaving, and for regular shaving too, for that matter. Some people don't like the use of an 8/8. Because they feel that it's just a little bit too unwieldy. However, the thing I like about it is that it literally just, it's heavy, and it literally just falls down your face. It's just a wonderful, a wonderful blade to use. And there's been arguments about why the barber's notch is there. And as a barber, the camp that I'm in is that the notch was there to maneuver around the nostrils. Because I noticed that in the shop, that's kind of what I do. Especially up near the top of the nostril to get those whiskers. So whether that's true or not, who knows? Because there really hasn't been any definitive comments either way. The only thing with the DR Harris soap is it does not have, KJ had talked about residual slickness, and I think to an extent I agree with him on that residual slickness thing. However, if you rinse the razor before you take it back to your face, which many people do, then technically you're doing the same thing as rinsing your face. So it's I think it's your mileage may vary type of thing. But I do agree with his statement in principle as far as residual slickness is concerned. Now, we would preface that by saying that if you're able to take the razor right after your last pass, not rinse it, and get that same slickness as far as being able to do your pass, your cleanup pass, accordingly, well, then yes. And I think really to test residual slickness, probably a straight razor is the best way to go. The fool's pass is always scary with a big chopper because one slip and you are noseless. So there's the 3 passes. Rinse up my brush or my sponge real quick. Very nice. Sometimes it has the tendency to be a little bit heavy-handed with the FBU because it's such a big blade. But other than that, just tremendous. Lately I've been trying an experiment with taking the aftershave and putting it on a damp face and then adding more a little bit later. And it seems to work pretty good, especially here because we don't have a lot of moisture in the air. But I know that on the old vintage Aquavelva, it indicates to apply the aftershave to a damp face. Unfortunately here, by the time you get done shaving, the humidity is so low that it it pretty much, you don't need towels this time of year. Well, not with the monsoon withstanding, but this time of year, towels are optional. The DR Harris dries down really, really quickly as far as the aftershave concerned. It feels very conditioning. It's got a high alcohol content, so, you know, you do need to be ready for the zap. But I like the lemony lavender smell, and so I'll use usually a neutral talc like this, the Mennen or the Paladin. Today I'm going down to pick up my glasses and my prescription glasses and my prescription sunglasses. I know that when Nurse Dave went to the optometrist, the doctor felt that he didn't need to get contacts. And as I said, the only reason I did, it was because of the fogging of the masks. When I've got a sharp implement to somebody's ear or head. But I wanted the option to be able to not wear my contacts during my off days. So I went ahead and ordered the glasses as well. The one thing I also noticed about the DR Harris Arlington is the post face feel is just tremendous, and their cologne is just wonderful. Just tremendous, tremendous stuff. Okay, Cadre, thank you so much for joining Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home for our straight shave for a Sunday. We do usually do a 3-series shave videos, and I'll probably be using Mitchell's Wool Fat tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. So anyhow, join us for the Zoom call. If you've never been to the Cadre before, and you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, it's www.theshavingcadre.com. Hope everybody has a blessed Sunday, and we'll see you again soon.